been an awesome day of StarCraft so far, and we're not done just yet, guys. Hopefully you're having fun as well. People in chat seem to be having a good time. Nate, what's the conversation of the day about?
Everybody seems to be interested in your tie.
Still the tie? No.
Yeah,
I thought we moved past the tie.
We've got the tie. We've got you know, pretty high amount of Kappa in the chat. Everything's looking pretty good though. Everything's
okay, that is looking good.
Once that's okay, everything else is fine. So it's time to get ready for our lower match for this group. We're gonna have our first Protoss versus Zerg of the day. And two pretty good players. We saw completely standard play out of our Korean Zerg Czech in his series against Neben. Well, Top, I don't know if there's even a word to describe the type of strategies that he does. Top is the wild card of this group.
Top is like Elfie and Haas on steroids. That's Top.
Yeah, they did like the Dragon Ball like fusion
Dragon Ball
dance.
fusion between Elfie and Haas, and then like he took some extra stuff to go a little more crazy. That's just the only way to define Top. He has a lot of crazy strats, but he's also just pretty damn solid. Don't underestimate him. I think the Czech is the favorite, but he's gonna have to be very, very aware of everything that's going on. Our first game, as you guys can almost see behind me, I thought it was already up, is going to be played on the beautiful map of Overgrowth. It's going to be the first and only PvZ of the day. Let's go ahead and jump in it, as we can see that our blue Protoss over here on the left bottom side of Overgrowth, representing Zenith of Origin, is Top.
Good old Top, who brought out, you know, if you're looking for a band name, 5 Oracles is not bad.
5 Oracles and fries. I would eat there every day, Nate.
And his opponent in the top right, the Korean Zerg player playing for Wavy Spiders, it is Czech.
I think this is the universe telling us that we should get 5 guys today, Nate.
There's too many things in place. Five Oracles, man. You gotta be dreaming about that.
Yes.
Like in dancing formations.
That's what dreams are made of, literally. We see a probe already marching across the map. We'll probably see another one go down real soon. Drop a forge at 12 or 13 supply. I think the Top is also the type of Zerg like, hey, if you're gonna go hedge first, I will cannon you. If you don't go hedge first, then you know I don't have to cannon you. I can pile and block you, and then the spot. And everything should be safe and sound.
Yeah, I think when you see a probe in this early, you almost instinctively like, okay, I'm not going to go hatch first if your probe's already here, dude. And I think because of that, I mean, doesn't showing the probe this early, isn't it usually for like Nexus first play?
Yeah,
most of the time?
as well. Like it's maybe a little bit of both. It's like, it's just a check to keep the Zerg player in check. Ah, he's check as well.
Well played.
Well played. It's just like, you know, I can follow this up with the Nexus, but if he's really stubborn and he's still showing me that he wants to go hedge first, well, in that case, I can still warp in the forge and you have plenty of time to still get your cannons up.
He does start up the forge. It's just I get the feeling that Top would still even try. I actually think, I mean, anything is possible.
This is a top spec. Okay,
oh
here we go.
Look how many pylons he's building. Oh, man.
I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. I've seen this. Didn't he do this against Kane in Challenger? I guess you weren't there. I think I was solo casting.
Man. Oh my God! You know, this is he got a, you know, he praised Wiedemann's at night. He's got the degree from Galsey's School of Architecture, and his father was Haas. Man, everything lined up for this build to work.
Oh, here we see Czech is gonna pull a bunch of drones. I think he did the exact same thing against Kane, and it worked. Actually, it worked surprisingly well. He got up enough cannons, and in the end, Kane just never had any economy to work with. See more pilots go down. I don't know what to say.
I don't know, Cav. First cannon's finishing up, and he's still locked away from this hatchery. He does not have a drone on the map, so even if he cancels this, I mean, that drone would be maybe his only hope of getting outside of his base. And with the Zerglings, maybe he can overwhelm this. 2 more pylons placed just in time.
Don't try to break a cannon rush here.
Oh,
I feel this is often exactly what they want you to do. Like some people might be like, what do you do against this? Well, first of all, you want to make sure that it doesn't happen. But once it does happen, I think the best thing is just trying to tag up to layer and doing some silly Nidus or whatever. Just doing something else. Maybe cancel the hatch and send the drone out to somewhere else and take an expense another place. Okay, he's getting another drone out. That's nice. He might be able to get it at a gold base or something. But I feel right now, with the drones being pulled and all the Zerglings being produced, I feel that this is already exactly what Top wanted to happen.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that he tagged the probe onto the only drone that made it out of his base. So he's like, wherever you go, cannons will follow, I promise. This game.
Welcome.
It almost looks like you can make like a symbol out of the way that those are arranged.
I know. It's almost like he's trying to tell us something.
Yeah. I guess if we tilt it, it's like T for top, right? I don't know.
It's just the pilot's a little bit out of position, but I guess it works.
Man, I'll take it. I'll take anything at this point. This has been a crazy, crazy set of games we've seen from every game that we've seen top play so far. And he's got his Nexus, his Gateway. Everything is just rolling normally behind all this. And I mean, what can Czech do? He just has to wait until he clears us out.
Yeah, needless to say, right now, our Protoss is in a very, very good position, guys. Nexus is going up, more than halfway done. Gateway going down as well. He's only down 2 or 3 workers. There's still no extractors for Czech. So
yeah,
Czech
I was going to ask how you feel about that. I see a lot of Zergs either try to go for something crazy with a lair or roaches.
I think, like, if you want to do that, then you start doing that immediately. But since he... what? Okay, well,
that was awkward.
Yeah.
Just... okay, more cannons. Okay. Whatever floats your boat, man.
He's like, you think you're going to try to break down my pylons just like that? He's going to wipe in another cannon. He needs to get another pylon as well to power them. Okay, this is the pylon. This is the mama pylon. That's gonna power
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he built like a Nexus and Potent overcharged him from his own natural. Like, he is that kind of guy.
Just my type of Protoss. Okay, we have 12 more slow links on the map. No, there is both extractors going down, but he's gonna have so many minerals. He won't be able to spend his minerals for I don't know how long. Like, I kind of feel that Czech is caught off guard. Exactly the only thing that shouldn't have happened against this guy, but it seems like he didn't really have a follow-up plan for this.
Oh wow, he can hit that cannon. That one's fine. Oh.
Yeah, but like, let's not forget that by the time that he's expander up and running, he's going to be down like 12 workers. He has no tech. He could have taken his gases quite a bit quicker. Yeah. He does have a fully saturated one base, so he's got that going for himself, which is really nice, I guess. He takes down the queen, he loses the queen.
I mean, now the Zerglings will be able to overwhelm the cannons, but you put it best, Roddy, He's just about to take his natural expansion with Zergling speed on the way, and there's already sentries back home to keep anything that could possibly come at him away. With double cannons, he's got 2 cannons back home. Yeah.
Yep. The good thing is, at least he has a good gas economy going already, so he can fire up layer right now. Maybe just get another base immediately. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. I wouldn't even mind. It's going to be really hard, but to see him take the gold, I actually think the gold wouldn't be a bad decision. But let's not forget, right now there's no pile. I won't say there's no probot on the map, but there is. Did Czech see that? I'm not sure.
He builds cannons at this hatchery.
No, I don't think that's going to be the case, but just dropping pylons is going to be more deadly because he's going to follow this up with a gate attack. Like, that's just inevitable. We see 3 gateways go down.
Is actually really close.
He's getting a lot of cannons at home, so he's still a little bit paranoid about maybe a crazy bailing bust or something among those lines, but this is just going to be a 7-gate +1. And Czech is going to have to produce a lot of roaches. He does have an economy, but I'm not sure if he's ever going to have the larva that he needs to get out. If he's able to find that probe, that would make his life so much easier. This probe right now is the real MVP.
Yeah.
Hey.
That pylon.
You're the real MVP, bro.
That pylon is all he needs to make this attack work. The Overlord...
I actually think I can see Czech holding this, Nate, as crazy as that sounds. If he finds his probe, I actually like his position in this game. Because he already starts producing roaches. Czech is very well aware of what he has to worry about. But he really thinks there is nothing on the map, and that is the biggest mistake that one can make against someone like Top. Okay, Top is going to, of course, wipe in a lot of workers. I would love to see Burrow being richless as well. Of course, Czech is not that rich. We see Twilight go up, so maybe he's a tiny bit worried that he's not going to just able to win the game over here straight up.
Yeah, is he going to try to take a third? Is that in this guy's, like...
No.
Does he know what a third base is?
No, he's not going to go to it.
All right.
Not now, maybe later.
Robo's on the way as well, so he could, yeah, I guess he goes for an attack. If it doesn't work, recalls, but then he can also follow it up with, you know, with that many sentries, you know, almost like Puck style, +2, blink, portal or 2 if he wants.
I don't really know what these roaches are going to do, because, I mean,
they can start chipping away. He walled himself out, too.
Yeah. He's going to kill this pylon just so that he can expand later on. Okay, I actually think that this was a wrong move. He's going to get roach speed, but it's going to be a lot of force fields. If there was Burrow, then maybe, you know, I would believe. But the fact that this pylon is so extremely close, there is zero creep threat over here. This is going to be really, really difficult for Czech right now. If he was able to slow this down or push this back and take out the pylon, or at least, you know, like wait for new pylons to finish up, then maybe. But right now it's going to be really hard. Even though there's a lot of Zerg units on the wrong side of the force field.
Yeah, the Zergling backstab actually working out reasonably well so far. There's still a lot of gateway power here with this
21
force.
roaches on the map.
That mothership core got picked off as well, so no more time warp, no recall. And if Top decides to go for another attack, he's fully.
Too many roaches already. The 7 gate +1 is like you can kill Zerglings until the dawn of days, and even with small groups of roaches you can deal with it. But if the roach count goes out of control, there are no immortals in this mix, and normally, you know, an immortal sentry, then it's like the immortals deal all the damage and the rest is just there to complement those immortals. I feel that this roach count is slowly but steady balling out of control, so Top needs to think about maybe something else. Even though like the worker count is nowhere near as good for Czech as it normally should be. He's going to lose a few roaches, but not much he could do about it. It's all going to come down to the engagement. Of course, this Protoss army is getting now scary as well.
Yeah, he's going to spread out and try to hit this army from two sides. He needs to force field one of these areas off. A couple of them are dropping, but these roaches are getting way too close for comfort against this army. A sentry's being left in front, and he's actually losing quite a few of them. He's continuing to warp in Stalkers here, and look at this. I love he's moving these roaches to the bottom to cut off the only way out of here. And Czech, man, this guy must be so mad after the way this game started, and he is going to destroy this force of Top.
Yep, all of these Stalkers will fall. There is no blink. That mothership core dying proved to be detrimental. No recall for this army. You know, of course, it's still just 41 workers over here. Immediately a bunch of Zealots being wiped in, but there's a Spike Queen. This hatch is not going to fall. With the cannons, he will be safe at home, but the army supply is going to tell the tale right now. 68 against 21.
Yeah, this couldn't really be worse now for Top. He gets this Zealot harass going, but he's got one Immortal and the 3 Photon Cannons. He's trying to get more sentries and Zealots to hold off. Czech is getting really, really close. Then Immortal's starting to get some big hits, and the third base is being neutralized for the most part as another Immortal is about to come out.
I don't think that was necessary. What did he kill over there? A gateway and a cannon in the end. He's losing a lot of drones. If Top would kill this hatch, then we're looking at a real game again. But I think that the roaches spawned in the right amount of time. But Czech lost a lot of units there for no reason. Like, he didn't have to run into those 3 cannons and the Immortal.
Yeah, so worried just seeing that, you know, Top below 70 supply. Getting over 100 is going to be really difficult because that main base is getting drier and drier. Just a few minutes left of mining on some of these mineral patches. And, well, pylons on the map have all been cleaned up as well.
Wow. I have seen Alfie not sweat at third base until the 22-minute mark, so I think Top is fine. He has learned from his ancestors.
the Protoss lore of how long one can stand on 2 bases.
You'd be surprised, Nate. We are comfortable just where we are. Now, of course, in all honesty, it's going to be really tricky right now. Hydralisk are going to be a very big problem. That Hydra count is going to grow out of control. That is really impressive from Czech that he somehow, some way, found a way back into this game. I really think that like Top misplayed it a bit. Instead of giving so much time to his opponent, as soon as his first pylon was ready, he should have just only started warping in units over here. He knew about this third base. He should have just only started warping units. Like, who cares about all these sentries? I don't even know why he warped in like 7 sentries at home. I guess he did that because he was worried about the bailing bus, but I think just having 1 sentry over there and then the 3 cannons is good, and then you just start warping in on the other side of the map. Because you make your life a lot harder if you start warping in everything over here, because then you have to actually walk across the map. And that first engagement was, of course, not good as well with that circling backstab. But still, really impressive by Czech that he kept his head cool after that horrible start for him.
Yeah, the Hallucinated Phoenix trying to see what's going on. It misses just barely, that infestation pit being planted down. But here's the thing. He's got so many Hydralisks with these roaches. The Immortals are strong versus the roaches. And with those force fields, if he can separate them and not fight it all at once, I think he could actually trade very well versus the roach part of this army.
Yeah, he definitely could. Czech shouldn't fight with his Hydra count being too low. He has 12 Hydras on the map right now, but it feels like not most of them are here. We have just a Hallucinated Phoenix on the left side of the map. A Robo Bay is going to be extremely important. Like, if this Hydra count keeps climbing, even though we've seen Puck do miracles with just Blink Stalkers, Immortals, and Sentries, but if this Hydra count goes very high, especially with the upgrades as well that Czech is going for himself, it's going to be really hard for this Protoss army to make something happen.
Yeah, and he's pushing out, so that gold base is being taken as the 4th for our Korean Zerg player, as this west tower is taken. He's got enough immortals to destroy, an incredible number of roaches, but
Yes.
he's got only 20 roaches on the map, and he's moved actually quite heavily into his Zerglings. I don't think he has any upgrades for them except the speed, so this is still going to be really awkward. I love the pre-spread from these Hydras. It makes it very difficult to attack into. What's he loading into the Warp Prism? Oh, is he going to try to cut the main off? What is he doing
Yeah,
with
he's
this?
going to try to kill the main.
Oh, okay.
There are 2 roaches left. Those 2 roaches could be important, but there are so many gateways. Czech is aware of it, though. And then he's like, oh, no, maybe it's a fake. Those 2 roaches are so important right now, and this is not going to work. Hydras could even intercept. If Hydra sniped that prison, that would be massive. Oh,
He's really close to getting it, but I like that Czech
now
is...
force fields, though.
Yeah, Top's taking advantage of this, though. He's going to try to pick off this gold base. A lot of these Hydras separated from the rest of the army. Problem is, he needs to just kill his hatchery and recall out, because that Zerg force will just absolutely annihilate his army. 2 time warps. He's just going to go for it, Top. Is this enough? Those Immortals are really going to town on the roaches. These Hydras, though, from the left side as well, really helping. A couple drones picking them off, drops the sentries. Those get instantly killed off. And Top, I think he could have killed that hatchery and then recalled back to his 3rd. That's done now. But if he had any chance left, that might have just been it out the window.
Yeah, he lost too much there. Good engagement for Czech in the long run. Top really tried to make it hard for Czech to get a good engagement, but still, a lot of Hydras, a lot of Lynx fighting Stalkers. Those sentries from the Warp Prism, they got picked off immediately. And in the end, Top is just not able to reinforce that army. If he had a few more force fields, then maybe, just maybe. But in the end, Czech will win game 1 over here on Overgrowth, after a pretty interesting chain of events, to say the least.
The way that game started was, that was pretty gnarly. Lots of pylons, lots of photon cannons. And probably something that if you play Zerg, whenever I play Zerg and I get a Protoss, this always seems to happen. It's the most frustrating thing to deal with. I'm actually blown away with how well Czech recovered after that.
Yeah, I think one of the smartest things he did is often a Zerg player. So when they had a start in the game like this, they're like, oh, I took so much economic damage, my expansion is so late, I need to drone up. And then they often die because of that greed. But like Zerglings and Roaches are extremely cheap units. So if you're that sure that an attack is going to come, and when you play against someone like Top, then you can be pretty damn sure that it's just going to be gateway units. He stopped droning at 41, which is obviously a low amount, but you can make a surprising amount of roaches of 41 drones.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. And the moment you have like 20 plus roaches with speed, you're almost never going to die against unupgraded gateway units. What I'm most surprised by, though, Nate, is that it felt like Top was really going all out with that attack. Like he walled himself in, and that's like the ultimate universal proto sign of like, hey, I'm gonna try to win on 2 bases because my probes can't even leave. So he walled himself in, but he still had so much stack behind that. He was getting a robotics facility, he was getting blink. I don't really understand that. I feel like if you make 7 gates and just go ahead and try to win.
Yeah, it was a little bit of indecision that came out of him. I feel like that's just one of those situations where it maybe was, we talked about maybe Czech was caught off guard by the build that his opponent went for, but maybe Top was caught off guard by how well Czech responded to everything. He's like, I mean, normally I would be able to just kill the guy from here, but he's not dying. So really crazy first game. Second map will be played out on Frost. So this map, if it's a little bit harder to scout, maybe he starts the cannon processing earlier this time.
It could be something solid as well. Like, as crazy as Top is, I feel that those cannon tricks, I think it's most of the time it's for a 2-player map. I don't think he's the type of Protoss that wants to cannon at all costs. Like last game, he definitely wanted it pretty bad, but I think this game we might see something, at least in the start of the game, is going to be standard. After that, well, we might as well just see 5 Oracles again. God knows who.
Yeah, that is one way to look at it, guys. We are loaded into Frost for the second map here of our lower match here, WCS America Premier League Group D. This is a potential elimination map for our Protoss player spawning in the bottom left position. Playing for Zenith of Origins, it is Top. We went for the 4-pylon wall off on the last map. That's why they added the ground plates at the base of the ramp. His opponent in the top left, the Red Zerg player playing for Wei Spiders, it is Czech.
Not stopping the guys who truly want it. But yeah, you can get some destructible plates or rocks at the bottom of the ramp. That just means they need to wipe in an extra pylon, right? Well, that's not that bad.
Hey, man, plates are effective sometimes. It's really crazy just to see what you can do with it, despite the fact that there's actually that thing there to block them. But he has his pylon on the high ground, so I guess it's probably going to be a gateway opening this game.
Yeah, I'm expecting that. It could be Nexus first into a gate as well. We'll see. Fortunately for Czech, his Overlord is heading into the right direction, so he's going to find top pretty early on. Gonna make his life a little bit easier, and I think he might go hedge first, because this is of course a 4-player map. It's a little easier to pull stuff off. Then again, he might be a little paranoid after that last game, and I guess he is, because he's even going 14 pool over here. He's like, oh, this guy's real cray-cray.
Never again.
Yeah, opens up with the spine crawler, like after the power up immediately puts it over here to make sure that he doesn't get walled in.
Oh man, yeah, spine crawler expand.
Yeah.
It's gonna become a thing.
I think I saw the AI do it.
Even the insane AI would probably do that. So gas is done for top. He's getting a second pylon behind the mineral line. Nothing super crazy just yet. That probe scout will find Czech very late. It'll be the last base that he scouts this map. So Czech, as worried as you are, you mean we know as the observers, you got nothing to worry about.
Nope.
Not yet, at least.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it any better myself. The gateway is not going to see this Overlord just yet, but Czech is not worried about revealing it. He's just going to fly that Overlord in range. And right now Czech is going to see that everything looks normal, which can be of course very deceiving, because what is normal when we are talking about top? Top realizing as well that this Overlord must have came from the left top side of this map. So he's going to send over the probe. He's going to be like, alright, no third base yet. And he's going to see that first set of Zerglings, which is always nice, you know, like you much rather see this than seeing 2 hatcheries up already with a very late pool, and you're like, oh.
Oh, I could have cannoned this.
Exactly, especially if you're top. You're also going to see the extractor, which is the most important thing above it all. And now he truly knows. He's like, ah, cool, your opening was really uneconomic, which is not necessarily the end of the world, but you know, it's definitely a lot easier to deal with than a double hatch opening, which you can't pressure anymore.
Yeah, and well, the big question is, what is his follow-up going to be? He's taking the second gas. There's an Overlord that can see this second gas very easily, so he should know kind of what's up as he finishes destroying his own rocks. Probably just hates those rocks because of how hard it makes it to cannon. Like, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need to not have those rocks there, but he just really dislikes them for what they do.
Sure, the slow Zerglings will show up over here for Czech and realize that he can't really do much either. So from this point on, I'm expecting nothing but drones for a while from Czech. I am surprised that he hasn't decided to go up to 3 bases just yet. I think he's going to send out a drone real soon. If he stays on 2 bases for much longer, then it's a little similar to how J-Dong sometimes plays this matchup, but I feel that never really works out for the Dong. See, it often just doesn't really have the economy that he truly needs.
Yeah, with this Zergling speed, I mean, you really can't hope to do too much. Like, I know there's Zergling speed, like, rushes versus gateway expands that can work well, but in this situation, it's definitely interesting. He starts a forge up.
Like,
well,
I really don't mind the speed, the early speed. I think it's completely fine. Okay, now drone is heading out. I was just worried that if he was never gonna go up to 3 hatcheries, then he might be like short on larva soon, and he's putting himself in a tricky position which he didn't need to. Like, I kind of like the speed opening, even though it's less economic. But against a player like Czech, when you know you're just gonna have to check every corner against top, sorry. Against a player like Toby, you just have to check every single corner of this map, make sure there's no crouching probe, hidden pylon going up somewhere, or, you know, cannons for God's sake at a third base, which these players are capable of. So I really don't mind the speed opening. I think it's completely fine.
all right, seems fair. The +1 attack is on the way, continuing to put out sentries from the 3 gateway setup. That top has Roachhorn is coming in as well. I'd imagine Evolution Chamber lair starting up reasonably soon. The Zergling's going to poke the front. Mothership Core says goodbye, and all he really sees are those gateways. There's no tech out at all for top.
Yeah, I kind of wonder where top is going to go with this. There are Overlords in good positions as well, but he's aware of it. I think right now it's just pure macro from top, and I think he might be going up to 3 bases soon. It's going to weapon a defensive cannon. That is interesting. I think he's going to send out a probe and go up to 3 bases. Anything else? Well, okay. It's maybe like an in-between. I don't think this is a big commitment, because unless he just wipes in 4 gateways right now, but then I'd be very surprised. I don't think that's supposed to work.
Yeah,
okay, he's stopping over here.
Yeah, I think he's going to build a 3rd Nexus. That makes sense. Lair is just past halfway complete. +1 attack is getting reasonably close to finishing. Where's that next? Okay, there it is. There's the
6
Nexus.
roaches being produced immediately by Czech, 7 right now, and I'm not sure. I think these roaches are partly defensive, but he might also just make that many of them that he's going to be, he's going to be able to surround these sentries. This is bad for top. How many sentries is top going to lose?
Tries to force field himself inside, loses quite a few
all of them.
despite this. All of those sentries eliminated, and that resources lost tab looks ugly, Kev.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was really not necessary. You can't leave your sentries that exposed. And right now, these roaches are a real problem. These were not just defensive roaches. These roaches can also pressure on the other side of the map. These zealots are completely lost. They will get picked off by these roaches, even when they don't have speed just yet. I love how he's trying to like block them with the Zerglings. This is Warcraft 3 micro over here. A little bit. It was a little easier in Warcraft, but still.
Trying to mess with the pathing on this. That Nexus is not complete. The Photon Cannon will be done soon.
Yeah, but it's a lot of roaches.
Yeah, he won't have a Photon Overcharge or anything like that to help fight this. So the cannon's done, but these roaches might just focus on the Nexus.
Yeah, I'm not sure. These zealots do a lot of damage though.
Yeah, those roaches kind of derped for a second.
Yeah.
Took a lot of free hits from those units. Now the Nexus is complete. Photon Overcharge is activated. That cannon and the Nexus cannon going to town.
I think this Nexus might survive.
Yeah, he's got it to less than half of its health.
Okay, now start shooting at Stalkers again. Don't do that. Like, you have to make up your mind. Either go for the Nexus or go for the Stalkers.
And he gets a little bit of the Stalkers, but very nice still that he has that third base alive.
Yeah, as bad
as the cannon.
Yeah, as bad and the cannon. As bad as this all started for Czech, for top, losing those sentries that were completely exposed over here. This was pretty much the best case scenario that he could have hoped for. The roach count got reset from like 17 or 18 back to 5, and he kept this base alive. That's normally what you want. If you go for quick 3 bases as Protoss, you want your opponent to make a lot of units, but let your Nexus survive. And on that point on, you're like, cool, I'm doing good. Either way, he's not out of the woods just yet, because we have a lot of Hydras on the way.
A lot of Hydralisks.
Still though, you know, normally, if these are 2 evenly skilled players, I think it's quite okay for the Protoss. I think this is something that he could work with. The only dangerous thing is there is no robotics facility, so it's not like he's going to get Colossus anytime soon. If he would have Colossus, I would almost say that he's in an excellent game-winning position.
Yeah, well, he's continuing to put out these Stalkers. Blink is getting reasonably close to completing, as well as +2 attacks, still putting out quite a few probes. But getting aggressive versus Hydralisks on creep is just, I mean, it screams, no, do not do this. Hydras are I mean, we've seen how well they traded before in the previous engagements in the last map. So Robo Facility begins now, but very far away from Colossi. And if he needs them defensively, they might not be out in time.
Yep, he could have wiped it in a little bit quicker. There are 17 Hydralisks right now, and I couldn't have said it any better. It just screams no, and also because this is such a beautiful position to like just put all your Hydras. It's such a like lovely little arc over here. I can already see it. I can picture it.
Just imagine all of those Hydralisks in a fantastic spot. Top's starting to chew away at these rocks. Wants to open up a little bit more space for himself. +2 attack is now complete with Blink.
He does have Blink, of course. Yes, he can micro, he can drop a couple of force fields as well. But look at this Zerg army that's going to move forward. He's going to need a fantastic hold. He can't put himself too defensively either, because then he's just going to lose his cannons and maybe even the Nexus.
Yep, the cannon's going down very quickly. He's hiding these Stalkers in the mineral line so that the Zerglings can't get good surface area. But, you know, you said it, Kev, these Hydralisks could try to target something down here. And the rest of the Hydras are coming in. He's replacing some force fields, but at this point, it looks so difficult to actually stop this attack. More and more roaches in production. He's taking the 4th base behind all of this in the top right. He does still have a lot of his Stalkers alive, though.
There are Hydras everywhere. Yes, he does. Blinks forward, picks up a couple of Hydras that were exposed on the left side, but this time the Nexus is taking a lot of damage, and it will fall. But, of course, he needs to take out a couple of these Stalkers as well, otherwise he leaves himself vulnerable for the counter-attack. But it seems like there is just enough Zerg to at least, you know, dwindle this Stalker count a little bit and still put himself in a fantastic position. This all looks really, really good for Czech.
Yeah, Czech has played a fantastic series so far after that crazy first game, but might need just 1 or 2 more solid attacks to settle things here and go back to play against Eve again at the top. He has 1 Zealot and 8 Stalkers on the map. You know, what do you do, Kev?
Complain about Zerg?
I guess that's one reasonable option. 14 Hydralisks on the way. He's going to rebuild this 3rd Nexus, hunkering down for this, I guess, macro game. Definitely a macro game in the eyes of him reaching the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, no, this is a very dark position to be in. you don't want to leave, because this is WCS America. There is a lot of money on the line. For the people who don't know what we are playing for, every player that you've seen in action today will get at least $2,000, even if they lose. If you advance, you secure yourself at least $3,000 and also 100 additional WCS points. And of course, you still be in the running for so much more money. So you always want to fight till the bitter end, unless you're just super confident and you think like, I'll win the next 2 series, something that Tasia has done in the past, I guess. But you don't want to leave, Nate, but I feel there's almost no other choice. He's going to drop some good force fields over here. He will zone out a few roaches, but I feel there are just a few too many Zerg units.
Yeah, a few Zerglings are waiting on the right side as well. Those force fields begin to dissipate. Not enough energy to add more. The Nexus will complete right in front of all these Hydralisks, so there's no way it's going to stand very long. Gets picked off straight away. The +3 attack is on the way for top, but that's all he has coming in. And yeah, he's not even going to break 100 supply again in this game.
No, I'm afraid not. He might be able to clean this up in the long run if he does this really well, but it's really hard to micro when your army is like kind of in 2 positions at the same side. It makes Blink Stalker micro very hard to execute. We can see it here as well. He loses a couple of sentries immediately. A few of these Stalkers are going to fall as well at the front. There are just so many Zerg units knocking at his front door, and GG is called. Unfortunately for top, he will once again not make it into the round of 16. He's such a consistent qualifier for Premier League, but he has never made that jump to the round of 16. And unfortunately today won't be his day either, but he definitely left us with a couple of fun games and things to talk about.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be one of the more talked about groups from the round of 32 of a WCS America. A lot of crazy games, a lot of fantastic play from all these guys. Czech, though, playing so well, so solid, now gets to go and get the rematch against Neeb. Another Terran versus Zerg. And you know, we've seen this time and time again. The non-Korean player wins the first series against the Korean, and then in the rematch, that's where things start to get a little bit more difficult.
I think it's going to be one hell of a series, though. I'm super pumped for this one. I don't think there would be any better way to close out the day. I feel in the start of the day, like that series was an awesome series, and I enjoyed all 3 games, but I feel that in game 1, Czech may have been playing on autopilot mode a little bit. He was definitely trying, but he's like, I'll make a few Zerglings. I don't want to die something stupid. And it's only like, wow, this guy is really good, and I'm playing guys. And in game 2, you could really see Czech just doing pretty much everything right, playing the cleanest way of Zerg possible. And in game 3, he tried it again, but then Neep kind of stepped it up to the next level again. So it was really awesome to see both players pushing each other forward and forcing each other to play better. I really think that, like, we've seen it a lot in the past. Yes, the foreigner wins the first series, but then you kind of already feel it coming. I'm not sure if I'm feeling it coming that Czech is going to win. Can Czech defeat Neep? Yes, absolutely. He's a fantastic Zerg, and he's one of those guys that I think can go very far. But I also feel that Neep has the talent, has the skill to close it out. It's going to be one hell of a series, man.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I absolutely can't wait. The last series of the night to determine who goes to the round of 16 and who goes home. Neep had some great games last season. We have to find out if he can make it happen again.